May is an interesting month full of big astrological events. We are continuing with the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, Mercury stations retrograde, Jupiter switches signs, and Mars will conjoin Jupiter, which is one of the biggest events of this year. We will be required to adapt and stay flexible because where we think we're going might not be where we're going and to end up in at the end of the month. Let's break it all down and talk about the major astrological events of May. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive astrology. If you'd like to book a reading with me, check out the link down below. And if you're new here, please subscribe, leave me a comment or a like. I appreciate all of the support, all of the comments and conversations I have with you guys. I am currently writing personal May horoscopes, so if you'd like to know what all of these events mean for you, and even more so like what kind of personal transits are happening in your chart right now, you can DM me or email me, DM me on Instagram. And there's also a Taurus special I'm currently running, so every Taurus gets 20% off natal and solar return predictive readings. There are links down there, coupon codes down below as well. So May is big, right? We're coming off from the solar eclipse. Solar eclipse in Taurus happens on April 30th. It conjoins Uranus. So there are major new beginnings in some sector of our chart, in the Taurus sector of our chart. If you haven't yet, check out the video I did on the solar eclipse in Taurus to find out what this means for you. But there is a desire to start something new, to innovate, to break away from the old in the Taurus sector. And Taurus deals with physical body. It deals with our finances. It deals with our sense of security. So you may literally be upgrading your home, investing into a home. You may be upgrading your look. Maybe you're changing your diet, right? Anything that makes you feel secure, anything that you desire that is tangible, material, sensual. Relationship changes are quite possible with this Taurus solar eclipse. However, this month will bring certain challenges, especially in the middle of the month, and it will test us. And it will likely make us let go of certain expectations. So you don't want to get too caught up in your vision of the future. You want to be open to change and you want to trust the universe. So the month begins with Venus sextiling Pluto and Jupiter sextiling Pluto almost one after another, basically between May 1st and May 3rd. And Pluto deals with our subconscious, it deals with our hidden motivations, with our fears and, anything that we don't admit to ourselves. Like, why do we begin these new things? What drives us? What motivates us? So with Venus sextiling Pluto and then Jupiter sextiling Pluto between 1st and 3rd, we may be realizing or looking a little bit deeper at our true desires and maybe trying to understand. It's a harmonious aspect, so it should be easy. But you may expect to kind of have a deeper look at what's important to you. Maybe even seeing things that you're afraid of, like, what's standing in your way, what is blocking you from reaching your goals. On Monday, May 2nd, Venus will enter Aries, and Venus will stay in Aries until May 28th. Venus is in detriment in Aries, meaning it's far from home because it rules Libra, and Aries is exactly opposite Libra. So Venus in Aries may struggle with flirting. Like, let's say we become more interested in quickness, right? Going one after another. We have no patience for the past, which is lovely. Like, if you're struggling to move on from a breakup, it is likely going to be easier to move on. But watch out for being too interested in the conquest versus, in something that's good for you, because you literally might be more excited by someone who is not great for you, but is giving you mixed signals because you are like an adventurer, a hunter, and you want to catch them. But at the same time, whatever we are pursuing, we all are likely to feel more passionate, more driven. It's a fiery Venus, right? More direct, kind of excited about things. So romantic matters can also develop a lot faster. And I think early in the month, we definitely feel like things are moving quite quickly, but then starting May 10th and continuing into the lunar eclipse on the 16th, we will get tested and checked. On Wednesday into Thursday, May 4th into 5th, Sun will conjoin Uranus. And then on May 7th, Sun will sextile Mars. So we're still in the realm of Taurus, right? It's still that energy of new beginnings, new growth, spring, whatever it is in your life, right? Could be having a child, could be starting a creative venture, it could be collaborating with others. And Uranus is bright. Uranus is like a light bulb going off in your head. It can also be like lightning striking. So there might be a little bit of anxiety or uncertainty, restlessness. Make sure you're not expressing that energy by driving too fast or getting into unnecessary debates or rebelling for the sake of rebelling. But this is a lovely, basically from like May 4th into May 7th, a really great time to act on your insights, because at first we get an insight with the Sun conjoining Uranus, and then it sextiles Mars in a harmonious aspect, calls you to take action. So great for starting new things, doing physical work, and any business activities. May 10th is an important day because two things happen. Mercury stations retrograde and Jupiter enters Aries. Jupiter enters Aries is very significant because Jupiter will go into Aries on May 10th and will stay in Aries until October 28th. And Jupiter in Aries is just do it energy. It's active, it's brave, it's no longer, for a while we had Jupiter in the uplifted sign of Pisces, very spiritual, very much in touch with the universe, slower, yin Jupiter. And now we get Jupiter in the young first sign of Aries, right? So you feel a burst of energy, you feel excited, you feel ready, you're like, okay, I'm doing this. But at the same time, Mercury goes retrograde. So whatever you're doing, it's likely you're going to have to slow down a bit. Mercury's retrograde until June 3rd, from May 10th until June 3rd. And you may be required to think about things from a more practical perspective, because Mercury starts retrograde in Gemini and then goes into Taurus. But it's like, you know, you have a lot of ideas, you're ready, you're feeling it, but then it's like, okay, maybe you have to rethink, maybe you have to come up with a strategy, maybe you need to make a plan, maybe you need to look back and address something you haven't addressed in the past. So, and also Mercury is going from Gemini into Taurus backwards, so some of the ideas that you have will definitely need to be checked against like longevity and seriousness and diligence of Taurus. On May 15th, we have a tough transit. Sun will square Saturn, and this is a testing trial moment. There might be some blockages, like other people standing in your way. Say you are a Libra rising, right? And the solar eclipse in Taurus inspired a desire in you to buy an apartment. So the Sun square Saturn could be very much about like, well, you don't have all the paperwork ready. Well, we don't really approve your credit and you have to go and look for a different bank. You have to reach for help. So Sun square Saturn can be a bit tricky. You will need to overcome certain difficulties and stay patient. But you have persevering will definitely be rewarding. On May 16th, we get a lunar eclipse in Scorpio, the transit that potentially can be quite challenging because the moon struggles in Scorpio. The moon is in its full in Scorpio. So while we are in this phase of excited new beginnings, spring, feeling excited and starting things and being in charge of our own future, there is likely something that we're not addressing. So there might be, with this lunar eclipse, there might be some dark emotions coming up, a certain need to adapt, a certain need to face things. Like you know, for example, if you are a Leo rising, there is solar eclipse in your house of career, and maybe you're getting these new opportunities and you're getting recognized and you're kind of like shining professionally. But then solar eclipse draws your attention to your family. Maybe your family member needs help, and it sort of takes you away from the momentum of, you know, defeating all of your opponents professionally, but it's also something necessary. Or if you are a Scorpio rising and there's new beginnings in your relationships, but then you need to deal with your fears, right? Like, are you willing to be completely vulnerable? Are you afraid of something? And so this eclipse has the potential to be very like big. It squares Saturn, emotional. We will have to face certain dark emotions. And perhaps ask ourselves, what are we willing to let go of in order to reach our goals? Is it fears? Is it past dynamics? You know, are you ready to break away from the old in order to meet and find something new? Very much a testing time. On May 18th, Mars will conjoin Neptune. Mars and Neptune is very much action in line with the ideal. Mars is action, Neptune is idealistic, following our dreams, getting excited about something, but at the same time, Neptune is the larger whole. It's the community, it's the spirit of unity. So you may be questioning whether your goals serve others, right? Like after fresh off this lunar eclipse in Scorpio, dealing with some tough emotions, having to let go of something. Now you're in this stage of just like figuring out whether things you're pursuing are serving others. And so there might be a need to let something go. Kind of, we're continuing the phase, you know, the moon begins to lose light after the lunar eclipse. So the need to sacrifice, the need to compromise, and compromise might be quite healthy. For example, if it is the case of starting a new relationship and the compromise requires you to give up your apartment to move in with your partner, maybe it's letting something go for the sake of better new beginnings. On May 19th, Mercury will sextile Jupiter, Sun will be aspecting Pluto, so we may get some good news. It might be a moment in which you are feeling more uplifted, excited, optimistic. There might be new opportunities related to education, travel, business dealings, negotiations, anything like that. On May 20th, Sun enters Gemini. Exciting. Every new season is exciting, but Sun in Gemini is very curious. We are open-minded. We're interested in connecting with people, socializing, learning more, exploring a lot more. And then, pretty exciting that the day after, May 21st, Mercury retrograde will conjoin the Sun in Gemini. And that is called Cazimi. It's the moment where the Sun and Mercury come together and they sort of, you know, talk about new beginnings. And after that, Mercury emerges. A few days later, Mercury emerges as the morning star. So you will start to see it a little bit before sunrise. And this is the time, it's the time of increased understanding. So whichever house Gemini is in your chart, that's where you may expect some kind of deep insights, news, maybe an ability to see a problem from a different angle, find solution to things, reshaping your ideas, reshaping your strategy. On May 22nd, Mercury goes back into Taurus. So this is kind of the whole theme of Mercury retrograde. You have a lot of ideas, you're excited about things, you have your eyes on the prize, but then things have been happening, right? You were forced to let something go, you would have been forced to sacrifice something or compromise, deal with a crisis of sort, and now with Mercury going back into Taurus, you're called to adapt your long-term goals while using this information. It's interesting too, I feel like, you know, Jupiter entering Aries feels like almost like, you know, sending off rocket, for example, and then Mercury going retrograde, it's like you're so excited and you press the go button, but then you get a bunch of data that tells you that like you cannot go straight, you have to like go to the left, and maybe it extends your journey. So Mercury retrograde most likely extends it for us, you know, it kind of like makes us be patient and wait a little bit, but at the same time it could also be better, right? Because your rocket is not going to hit something that it's not supposed to hit. May 23rd is a pretty good day. Sun will sextile Jupiter while Mercury sextiles Mars. Good luck when it comes to winning arguments, getting other people to agree with you, getting other people to support you. Negotiating could be successful. May 24th, Mars enters Aries. Mars will stay in Aries until July 5th. And this is important because few days after that, on May 29th, Mars will conjoin Jupiter. So basically, as soon as Mars enters Aries on May 24th, it starts to build up to that conjunction with Jupiter on May 29th. And this is a lot of firepower. Mars is in its domicile. Jupiter is ruled by this Mars. So you are very impatient. You're very much a go-getter. You don't need an approval of other people. Well, of course, Mercury is still retrograde and, you know, you may not have all the data, but there might be progress at this time and there might be good results when it comes to your personal actions and personal initiative. But be careful when it comes to taking on too much and working out too hard and pushing things, you know, and kind of being too bold, because other people might also be acting bold and you don't want to be like bumping heads with them. May 27th has the potential to be tough because Venus will square Pluto. And Venus squaring Pluto, Venus is the ruler of the solar eclipse that started the whole eclipse cycle. Pluto deals with darkness, manipulation, power struggles, obsession, jealousy. And Venus squaring Pluto is the time where some of it might bubble up, right? Are you too obsessed with your goals? Are you too ruthless and haven't been able to adapt at all? If you haven't, you may deal with some tough events. Maybe other people come at you, or maybe you just feel so obsessed with a goal that you lose the point of it all, why you even started in the first place. So be careful at that time, deal with things in an honest manner and try to find balance between things you desire versus the larger goal and the good of other people. But there's definitely a potential for some catharsis and drama and challenges of relationships. Shortly after that, the next day though, Venus goes into Taurus and she will stay in Taurus until June 22nd. So quite a relief. You will be able to just go like, finally. Because Venus in Taurus is in its sign of rulership. You can expect to be more sensual. You know, we are currently in Taurus season, so Venus entering Taurus just extends that a little bit longer. So you will enjoy nature and shopping and eating good food and, I don't know, taking naps with your partner. So all the good stuff. On May 29th, as mentioned before, Mars will conjoin Jupiter. Good luck to your actions. Good luck to all of your initiatives, because Mars is drive, ambition, desire, and Jupiter just says, okay, here you go. You get that. So it might be the lovely couple of days right around this time to take action and to start any projects that require maybe you and your initiative and also are very like self-starter kind of projects. And finally, on May 30th, we get a new moon in Gemini. It looks like a quite a nice new moon. A lot of peaceful, calm energy, starting new things in the sector of your chart that is Gemini. We will, of course, break down not every single one of these. We'll break down some of the major transits as they occur. So stay tuned and thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Talk to you very soon. Bye.